It's 8 o'clock. This is the UK Tonight, live from Buckingham Palace, as the Princess of Wales reveals she has completed her cancer treatment. In a very personal family video, the Princess thanks the public for their support and speaks of her relief at finishing chemotherapy.
The last 9 months have been incredibly tough for us as a family. Life as you know it can change in an instant, and we've had to find a way to navigate the stormy waters and road unknown.
The video released today, an intimate view inside the royal family, showing the Princess spending time with Prince William, their 3 children and her parents. As Catherine says, the experience has given her a renewed sense of hope and appreciation of life. The video made for the couple by a filmmaker and influencer who also made a film to mark their 10th anniversary. We'll show you today's video in full and discuss what it tells us about the modernising of the royal family. Also ahead.
Hello, I've just phoned and asked for fire brigades and police. We've just realised that whatever's on fire looks like a motorbike.
Abandoned by the police, we'll have a special report on the communities who say that their complaints about antisocial behaviour are falling on deaf ears. And calls for the inquiry into Britain's worst child killer in modern history to be widened as experts cast doubt on Lucy Letby's convictions. Hello, good evening. Now, 6 months ago, the Princess of Wales shocked the world when she revealed that she'd been diagnosed with cancer. Today, she has revealed that she has completed her treatments, but it was the nature of the announcement that surprised us. A glossy, highly produced video offering an intimate portrait of life in the royal family. The heartwarming video contained a positive message about Catherine's health and how she's expected to undertake more engagements in the coming months. But as the Princess pointed out, the path to recovery is a long one. Our royal correspondent Rhiannon Mills reports.
As the summer comes to an end, I cannot tell you what a relief it is to have finally completed my chemotherapy treatment.
In the most personal of videos, the Princess welcomes us into what is usually their private place of sanctuary, as they were filmed near their home in Norfolk.
To navigate the stormy waters and road unknown. The cancer journey is complex, scary and unpredictable for everyone, especially those closest to you. With humility, it also brings you face to face with your own vulnerabilities in a way you've never considered before. And with that, a new perspective on everything.
Is this filming?
Hello? Hello?
This time has above all reminded William and me to reflect and be grateful for the simple yet important things in life, which so many of us often take for granted, of simply loving and being loved. Doing what I can to stay cancer-free is now my focus. Although I have finished chemotherapy, my path to healing and full recovery is long, and I must continue to take each day as it comes. I am, however, looking forward to being back at work and undertaking a few more public engagements in the coming months when I can. Despite all that's gone before, I enter this new phase of recovery with a renewed sense of hope and appreciation of life. William and I are so grateful for the support we've received and have drawn great strength from all those who are helping us at this time. Everyone's kindness, empathy and compassion has been truly humbling. To all those who are continuing their own cancer journey, I remain with you, side by side, hand in hand. Out of darkness can come light. So let that light shine bright.
This is how she wanted to show us her treatment is finished, and you can feel there is a sense of relief. But they want to stress she is not cancer-free. Her health and family still come first. In March, she opened up for the first time.
The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment.
And in June, released this photo confirming she was still having treatment and having good and bad days. Even now, there is uncertainty, which cancer experts understand.
When somebody in this position finishes their preventative cancer treatment, like Kate's chemotherapy, what that would mean is that there's no sign of cancer left, but there's still a risk of a cancer coming back in future years. We're getting better at finding tests that can detect that cancer and better at treating it if it does come back. But I think the main thing is that as the years go by, the risk of that cancer coming back gets less and less.
Trooping the colour was a big day for her, back in the public for the first time, supporting her children and family. There is no doubt her diagnosis has only strengthened her conviction that they are her priority. But inevitably, after she also appeared at Wimbledon and with summer over, questions were going to come up about when she was going to fully return to duties. With Prince William and other members of the family returning to engagements this week, I think they wanted to try and avoid the speculation growing about her health, which of course they saw at the start of the year and was such a dark time for all of them. But what they have stressed is we're only likely to see her on a handful of occasions for the rest of this year. But one event she is hoping she could attend is Remembrance Sunday.
This time has above all reminded William and me to reflect and be grateful for the simple yet important things in life, which so many of us often take for granted, of simply loving and being loved.
By allowing a camera in now, she's again shown us just how precious her family are to her, but also making a more subtle request. They still need their privacy. They want that respected, as in some ways her recovery is only really beginning.
And I must continue to take each day as it comes.
Rhiannon Mills, Sky News, at Buckingham Palace.
And undertaking a few more public engagements in the coming months when I can.
Well, Rhiannon's with me here at Buckingham Palace tonight. And Rhiannon, when we heard that we were going to get a statement from Kensington Palace on the Princess of Wales's health, I'm not sure what we expected, but we certainly didn't expect that, did we?
No, I think we were expecting things to be moving in a positive direction. We saw that video that they did for the Olympic athletes. We obviously saw her at Wimbledon, trooping the colour. So it seemed that everything in terms of her health was moving in the right direction. But no, we didn't expect to see a video like that in a year where the royal family have been probably much more open than I've ever seen them in the 10 years that I've been doing this job. That still came as a big surprise. As I mentioned in my report there, Norfolk is like their private place, it's their sanctuary. And the fact that they decided to let a camera in, I think says a lot about how they want to show how important family has been right throughout the last 9 months. But also the message, it's really from the heart, isn't it? You can tell that physically, but also mentally, those 9 months have taken a real strain on the princess and also Prince William as well. So it's extraordinary to see that they've decided to kind of release this information about her treatment coming to a close in this way. But yeah, it's very much in tune with what we've seen this year. Sense of she's had to step away from public life, but actually has wanted to kind of, I suppose, do something when it comes to connecting with others who also are going through their own cancer journeys.
Yeah, she very much talks about that as the close of the video, because her story is one of hope. She has finished her chemotherapy. She is now focusing, as she puts it, on staying cancer-free. But she's very mindful, isn't she, of the fact that so many people, as she said, she stands hand in hand, side by side with people who are going through this as we speak, who are at different stages of the journey that she has been on. And that was, as much as the family first and what she herself has been going through, it was a message to the wider public as well, wasn't it? That connection.
Look, we can't forget that this is a year where we've had a double cancer diagnosis for the royal family. And I think for both the King and the Princess of Wales, they have found great solace. Speaking to people inside the palace, they have really been, both of them, I think, buoyed up by the way that people have written to them or approached them with their own stories of what they've been going through. And while she's had to step away from public duties, I think she has realised that she can use her platform to really show just how hard it can be when you are hit with a health scare like she has been this year, how physically, mentally draining it can be, but also how it makes you reevaluate life. And for me, that's what that video shows, is that for her, I don't know, they always have to balance, don't they, that pressure to perform. They have the most public of lives. We're always hearing how for William and Kate, the children come first. I think that video is reinforcing once again that the children are coming first. And look, maybe she has completely reevaluated what is this royal life all about. And we will just see as the months go on. We have been told, though, it's only likely to be a handful of occasions that we're going to see her by the end of the year. Then they will have to reevaluate what 2025 looks like. So, yeah. But I think what they want to try and do with this announcement today is try and cut that speculation that just got completely out of control at the start of the year. It was a really bad time for all of them. I was told Prince William was really angry. He felt that his family was under attack. Today, they've shown a side of their family, a side of their relationship that we can't not talk about, the cuddling and the kisses between William and Kate. They've shown us a different side, but I think they've shown that they're a tight unit. Family comes first, her health comes first, and she still wants privacy. Even though today we're all talking once again about her and her health scare and her diagnosis.
OK, Rhiannon, thank you. Rhiannon will be back with me a little later in the programme, but for now, thank you. Well, as the Princess of Wales says, she has completed her cancer treatment. She talked about staying cancer-free as her main focus, but also revealed she hasn't yet made a full recovery. Let's take a listen again to what she had to say about her condition.
The cancer journey is complex, scary and unpredictable for everyone, especially those closest to you. With humility, it also brings you face to face with your own vulnerabilities in a way you've never considered before. And with that, a new perspective on everything.
Is this filming?
Hello? Hello?
This time has above all reminded William and me to reflect and be grateful for the simple yet important things in life, which so many of us often take for granted, of simply loving and being loved. Doing what I can to stay cancer-free is now my focus. Although I have finished chemotherapy, my path to healing and full recovery is long, and I must continue to take each day as it comes.
Well, I'm joined at Buckingham Palace now by Professor Pat Price, leading oncologist and co-founder of Catch Up with Cancer and chair of Action Radiotherapy. Pat, really good of you to come down and see us here at Buckingham Palace to react to what is good news. Let's just first of all talk about where Catherine is on her cancer journey, because she is at pains to say in that video, she's still got a path ahead of her.
Yes, absolutely. So we know she's had her surgery and then she had to have this preventative chemotherapy, which will have been long and grueling. And now the good news is she's finished the chemotherapy, which is great.
So talks about her relief.
Oh,
that stage is done.
Yeah, and all the patients out there who've had chemotherapy will know how tough it is. What a relief it's to be over. And now there's that period of recovery now. She needs to recover fully, mentally and physically, and then put her real life back together again now, which is, it's fantastic news for her. So excited for her.
It's fantastic news, and everybody's cancer journey and their path to full recovery is different, but I think what shocked everybody with the Princess of Wales' diagnosis is how young she was. She's in her 40s, and we talked about the number of diagnoses in that age bracket being on the rise. And for someone in their 40s who we know how active she was, we know how sporty she was, what kind of impact will that have had on her? Because, you know, for anyone, a cancer diagnosis is a shock, but for someone like the Princess of Wales, more so perhaps.
Yes, I think it must have been completely out of the blue, as she said in her statement in the video. Life can change in a second. She wasn't expecting that. Nobody was expecting that. And I think that means it's harder to deal with in some ways. And also she had the children to think about. Young mums out there who've got cancer diagnosis, you're more worried about your children, and actually also everybody's reaction to it around you, as well as yourself. And then being in the public face as well, so much for her to deal with, but she's done it so magnificently. But I think we have to realise that 1 in 2 of us are going to get cancer. There is an increased incidence, people are getting it younger, so I think we in some ways must be able to talk about it more, and people should present and talk about symptoms. She's opened up a big conversation which is really good for everybody.
There's so much in that video. It's long.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
3 minutes long, and as we've been talking about since it was released, it's so open.
Yeah.
She talks about vulnerability, she talks about being scared. You see her interacting with her children, being loving with her husband, the grandparents there, and it just paints that full picture of what a cancer diagnosis is like, because not only is it all of those feelings, it's also family as well, the grandparents who look after the kids when you just can't, you know, the children having to look after their emotions and vulnerabilities and them being scared. In that 3-minute video, she says so much.
She does, and I think so many people will recognise that, and it's important for us doctors and patients to realise that it is all about that, and that is what it's about. But also what was beautiful in there is she also talked about the good. She also talked about it makes you come to terms and see the good things. Love is what it's all about, as they say, and it's true, loving and being loved, realising what's important in life, and then coming through that journey and looking at life so differently, so appreciative of the small things. And people who've been on that journey will understand that. And often we say to patients, that's the good thing you can get out of this. In some ways, it's a shame we can't all get that without the bad stuff as well, but when bad stuff comes along like this, then there can be some really good things if you dig deep. And she has shown us that, and be so encouraging for patients out there.
She talks about now focusing on staying cancer-free. And for anyone who has been affected by cancer, that term itself is so loaded. On the one hand, on face value, that is the best news. But it's always treated with caution, isn't it? By medical professionals and by those who hear those words.
Yes, I think there's always that fear of it coming back, but what was so positive in her statement is she said she's looking forward to making a full recovery. So I think she'll have some downtime still, she'll have some worries, and she'll be perhaps going for a scan and worried, as people out there understand. But this bit of the journey can be tough as well, but hopefully as time goes on and she stays well and she gets better, she will feel so much better and be able to put this behind her. And it's so important for patients as well, so she's done, to almost put your life back together a little bit as well. So it's great that she's going to do some of her work, feel herself again, get that bit of herself back after being so much. But such a good example, as she says beautifully, hand in hand with people out there. We need to all talk about this, we need to share, and we need to help each other.
Yeah, it is scary. But, you know, we can make it less so by talking about it.
Correct.
Yeah. Pat, thank you. Pat Price, thank you so much for coming down to see us. I appreciate it. Still to come here on the UK Tonight, we're going to be discussing the filmmaker who made the Princess of Wales's video and what the film tells us about William and Catherine's modernising of the royal family. Stay with us.
And now it's coming from both sides, and it's moving this way.
Only about half a mile from the Turkish coast, and it's evident that the boat seriously overcrowded. This is one of the most severe viruses in the world.
I'm Alex Crawford, and I'm Sky's special correspondent based in Istanbul.
The biggest party Tripoli has ever seen.
That's it got us then. There's a lot of action going on, a lot of hits going in still. We aim to be the best and the most trusted place in news.
Clearly not had very much to eat at all. A lot of them extremely thin and very frail. Look at her arms. I can put my entire hand round.
This is the cocktail of drugs which the doctors at this hospital have been giving their coronavirus patients. Made for people who want clarity in an uncertain world.
Mother Nature can be vicious, absolutely savage.
The world's largest falls now down to a trickle in places.
I can't imagine how much plastic is lying at the bottom of this huge lake. Whoa!
Close and personal with her, I know.
This is what makes the job so fantastic.
More now on the video released this afternoon, revealing that the Princess of Wales has completed her cancer treatment. The video, we understand, was shot last month in Norfolk by filmmaker and influencer Will Waugh. It's an intimate and highly unusual view of family life for the royals. So what does it say about William and Catherine and their modernising of the family? Sky's Katie Spencer reports.
The last 9 months have been incredibly tough for us as a family.
Highly produced, slickly edited and carefully scripted. From the slow-motion shots to the poignant piano music and those nostalgic Super 8 inserts. Kate's comeback into public life, a Hollywood relaunch of sorts, aimed no doubt at a global audience who may be experiencing similar struggles.
Is this filming?
Hello? Hello?
Perhaps jarring, though, for some on homegrown soil, used to seeing the more clunky royal interactions of publicity past.
I think this has got a real breath of honesty in it, and which we demand now. And I think that it does herald a new age. And look, we all make mistakes. If we learn from them, we can be better. And I think they've learned from their communication, should we say, mistakes, and they've grown into something which I think is a magnificent example of how to communicate in the 21st century.
Side by side, hand in hand.
Lying down together, touching, surely not running through fields of what? This family utopia, we're told, filmed in Norfolk last month with the help of this influencer. A departure from their usual style, the intimate video filmed by filmmaker Will Waugh.
Hold on, right, okay.
Best known for producing a TikTok series about London restaurants. Perhaps an indication of the newer, younger audience they hope to reach.
This time has above all reminded William and me to reflect and be grateful for the simple yet important things in life.
Even the coldest of hearts couldn't fail to be moved by the sentiment. The world being dark enough, couldn't we all do with that little bit of glamour, that little bit of hope? Katie Spencer, Sky News.
I'm joined now by Emily Nash, Royal Editor at Hello Magazine. Emily, good evening to you. This is, of course, good news for the Princess of Wales, and we all need some good news right now, so it's really good to be able to bring that to our viewers. But as much as we're talking about the substance of that video, we're also talking about the style of it as well. And they have been releasing videos of late. This is one in a series to mark big occasions, and it seems that their style is evolving. What have you thought of this latest one?
Well, look, it's an absolutely stunning piece of film. It's really, really beautifully shot, very cinematic, and it really conveys this kind of idyllic summer that they've had together. But it also conveys this very important message, that Princess has undergone an incredibly difficult time. And you can see that the way the family is almost, clinging together, holding on to each other in this, how much it has been a focus for her to have them at her side and supporting her. Then you have these references to nature, where she's found sanctuary throughout her treatment process and where she's still continuing to take comfort. And it really packs quite a lot into just 3 minutes. So it's really quite a masterful storytelling moment, I think.
Yeah, the Prince and Princess of Wales, very much a brand within the bigger brand, the umbrella of the royal family. And when you think about the brand of the royal family, it is very traditional, it is very stiff upper lip. But this is something different, isn't it? So it's a modernising, if you will, of the royal family, a taste of what's to come.
It is, absolutely. And, we all know that they're incredibly privileged, but these are moments that so many families can relate to, being out on a beach with the children or walking through the woods. It's precious moments like this that I think we all aspire to as parents. And knowing what they've been through and seeing those very simple moments of joy, the things that have helped the princess throughout this difficult 9 months, I think is something that people can relate to.
Yeah, I was interested in the term aspirational because I'm just thinking of when I've walked in the woods with my children, they've fallen in mud, or if you've taken them to the seaside, they've gone into the water fully clothed. So it is very much aspirational, isn't it? It's very much...
It's all in the editing.
We are like you, yeah, it's all in the editing. But it is sort of opening the doors to this idyllic family life. And yes, they're trying to connect with people. But as you said, it is aspirational, isn't it, for so many people?
Yeah, it is. But look, I think that, if you look at the royal family, the last time we saw them all out together en masse was at Trooping the Colour, which is about as formal as it gets. So it's really lovely to see this glimpse behind the scenes at what they really get up to while they're away from the spotlight. And it's fairly ordinary things, having picnics, hanging out with the dog, pushing children on a swing, climbing trees. These are all things that people can identify with. And I think that, in her message, she is identifying with all the people continuing to go through cancer treatment, and that will bring a lot of comfort to people. So it's a really clever bit of PR, I think, but an incredibly moving one too. And I think, as you said, it's very hard to watch this and not feel pretty touched by it.
Yeah. As you said, it's clever PR. Do you think they're treading the line correctly in terms of opening themselves up to the public? People are interested in the royal family, and particularly in the Prince and Princess of Wales. But at the same time, Prince William, for instance, has been very clear about his red lines, the privacy of his family. What we saw there on video was a little insight. Do you think we'll get much more than that, or is it likely to be very controlled like this going forward?
I think that, that they obviously weigh up everything incredibly carefully, and paramount to William and Kate throughout this experience has been protecting their children. That was the reason they said that they took their time to share Kate's diagnosis with the public. And that's still going to be an absolute priority for them. But it gives us, some hope, as you said. It showed that things are progressing well, that the family's been an absolute rock to the princess. And I think that they can choose to share things as and when they feel comfortable. And when they do, it's about spreading a positive message.
And Emily, we should also say that, this video's been produced with a global audience in mind, because the royal family is a global brand. And taking a look at this video, it's also been made for a wider audience, hasn't it, outside of the UK?
Yeah, outside and inside the UK, but this is very much aimed at people who are scrolling through social media, and it's going to reach an incredibly wide audience as a result. The way it's been produced can easily be shared. I've put it on social media today and had it absolutely, I've been inundated with comments, people genuinely really wishing the family well and wishing the princess well and praising her for showing some vulnerability and allowing people inside a little bit. I think it helps people to really understand a bit more about what's been going on and what her priorities are. And she says that she's continuing to focus on a longer term recovery. And I think that people will understand she's not going to be rushing back to a full schedule of engagements as a result.
Yeah, millions of views online, and it's only been out a few hours. Parts of the world haven't even woken up yet to the news. Emily Nash, really good to talk to you, Royal Editor at Hello. Thank you.
Pleasure, thanks.
Still to come on the UK tonight. A scourge on communities that is going unpunished. We have a special report for you on the rise of antisocial behaviour. Welcome back to the UK Tonight, live from Buckingham Palace. After the Princess of Wales revealed she has completed her cancer treatment. We'll have more on the video released by the royal family shortly. But first, thousands of victims of antisocial behaviour say that they're being let down and left living in fear. Sky News has had first sight of a landmark report from England and Wales Victims Commissioner, which reveals that more than 2/3 of people who have reported antisocial behaviour haven't had their complaints resolved. Sky's People and Politics correspondent Nick Martin has this special report.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've just phoned the police and the fire brigade.
So a gang of boys dumped a bike?
It's a gang of boys have dumped a bike. They've created a fire. I've already phoned, but I'm phoning to let you know that whatever's on fire looks like a motorbike.
This is the terrifying moment a motorbike is set on fire just yards from a family's back garden.
My house backs onto the Wilmot Park and it's been set alight in front of the gates and there's black smoke billowing in the air.
But this isn't an isolated incident. It's one of a million reported cases of antisocial behaviour blighting communities across Britain.
That's it. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. Right, Rose, you cheater.
Wilmot Park in Dartford in Kent is a popular spot for families, but it's at night when the problems can start. For years now, the residents around here have been recording and logging case after case of antisocial behaviour, but still they say not enough is being done to help them. It's March, and producer Fiona and I have come to meet local residents Jackie and Paul and Neighbourhood Watch coordinator Gary, and what they tell us is shocking.
Smashing of bottles on the floor. I said the nitrous oxide canisters strewn everywhere. I had a couple having sex in the children's farmhouse over there. Screaming, shouting, fights.
It is quite scary because you're sitting alone. You can't sleep peacefully. Your sort of heart's in your mouth. I just feel vulnerable. I feel exposed.
Jackie, Paul and Gary say they try to report incidents to the police and to the council, but most of the time they say nothing happens.
It's even more frustrating because you just look at the amount of effort that our community is going into, Jackie and Paul, you know, documenting, spending time, energy and emotion, right, trying to build this case, and we're still not getting the response we deserve.
It's 1:20 a.m. A gang of youths enter the park. For the last 2 hours, they've been pulling down fences, banging on the equipment, screaming, shouting, urinating and smoking weed, because I could smell it. Police were first called at 11:30, but are very busy and have not shown up yet. I'm feeling scared and feel too intimidated to even let my dog out in the back garden. And it's just a shame, because it is a lovely place to live, apart from that.
Jackie's had a tough time recently. Last year she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
But I was very lucky I got the all clear, so I can't help but be positive now. But last year when that was going on and all this was going on, I was getting very despairing. And whatever, you shouldn't have to put up with it anyway.
Yeah, I can see that it was a lot on your plate.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Come on, we'll go back inside.
Yeah.
Some steps have been taken here. Last year, the council agreed to put up a gate at the entrance to the park, which is locked at sunset. I suppose the real test will be if we come back in a few weeks or a month to see whether this gate has had any impact. But when summer arrives, trouble arrives with it.
And poor little boys have had to leave the park, look. Because of that. That's disgusting. Leave them alone.
It's a warm evening. A motorbike is driven at terrifying speed through the park. Young children are in the playground, but whoever's riding the bike doesn't seem to care. A few weeks later, after dark, a group of youths squabble and argue, keeping residents awake until the early hours. But no one is prepared for what's about to happen next.
Baby, you're awake. Ring the fire brigade. You need to ring 999 right now. I don't know what it is. The ground people were just setting lights something right by the gate.
It's 2 a.m, and Paul and his wife are woken by a disturbance. You can hear the fear and the panic in their voices.
It's a motorbike. That's a freaking motorbike.
Right, you better ring them and tell them to get into here.
God. Hello, I've just phoned and asked for fire brigades and police. I'm a resident. My garden backs onto the park. We've just realised that whatever's on fire looks like a motorbike, and the smoke is billowing in the air.
It's getting really bad.
It's getting worse.
This is the reality faced by thousands of victims of antisocial behaviour. Trapped, helpless and frightened.
They're clearly not happy about the gate being locked, park being locked, are they?
They feared this would happen. Their community park now scarred and scorched.
You heard an almighty crash as the bike was rammed into the gate.
I mean, you can see the damage, can't you? Obviously, very obviously where the fire was. Nuts and bolts and pieces of the bike
We were scared. My wife was very, very upset about it. Luckily, my kids are in the front of the house, so they were not aware of it. But it's still in the morning. I've got to explain to my children why they can't go to the park and why there's a burnt-out bike in front of the gates without making them scared.
So we've got to crack down on antisocial behaviour. 13,000 new neighbourhood officers in your community with new powers, keeping your streets safe.
If that sounds familiar, it's because Labour made similar pledges more than 25 years ago.
We need a new approach, one that is tough on crime and tough on the causes of crime.
Labour introduced antisocial behaviour orders, or ASBOs, to clamp down on bad behaviour. But half of those handed out were breached, and the National Audit Office concluded that they failed to stop hardcore offenders. Now Labour wants to introduce a new idea, respect orders.
So here at the Home Office in London, going to see Dame Diana Johnson. She's the policing minister. And I want to talk to her about everything we've seen and everything we've heard over the last few months.
I'm hoping for more detail. What's new this time around?
What's the difference between an ASBO and a respect order?
Well, we are, again, 2 months in, we are working up our plans on respect orders.
Break it down for me.
The key
Break
thing
it down
is...
for me. What's the difference between an old idea from the past and a new idea for the future?
Labour has come in, after 14 years of a Conservative government, very clear. We have a commitment to 13,000 neighbourhood police officers and a guarantee what that will mean, a named officer in each community area. People will feel more confident by having that presence back on our streets. So we've been very clear about that. We've also identified respect orders is one of the things we want to do. But
you can't tell me much about it.
Well, we're in the process of developing that, working with other government departments, making sure...
It's in the manifesto.
It's in the manifesto,
yes. It's not beyond me to ask on behalf of the viewer for you to flesh out what a respect order is.
It will be about preventing those prolific offenders who are causing antisocial behaviour in our communities up and down the land. And there'll be consequences for their actions.
How many full-time trained police officers with full powers will be in amongst that 13,000? It's not...
I don't know the exact figure yet, but I obviously want to see that 13,000 on our streets as soon as possible, and it will be a mix, and we're working on that. And I have to say...
You can't tell me how many...
No, it's one of my priorities. I've been in post, I think, 2 months now, and this is one of my priorities. It's one of the things I'm saying to the Home Office. We've got to crack on with this.
One of Labour's big promises, one of their top 6 promises, was to tackle antisocial behaviour. Are you hopeful, are you doubtful that they're going to do something that's going to change matters here?
I think I'm doubtful. I think without massive investment in the police service and increasing the numbers of police, the fact that the police can't respond to a burnt-out bike exploding at 3 a.m. in the morning until 2 days later, I think is shocking.
Kent Police told us that they are aware of local concerns and is working with Dartford Council to address these issues. They say they attended within hours of the motorbike incident, but admit they haven't caught those responsible, adding, "We have teams who regularly patrol the area and also have a dedicated beat officer who residents can talk to directly." Now, a landmark report into antisocial behaviour lays bare the scale of the problem. The Victims Commissioner for England and Wales found that 2/3 of people who reported antisocial behaviour said their problem hadn't been resolved. Half said the problem had been going on for 5 years or more. The majority, more than 60%, reported it to multiple agencies like police, councils and housing associations. A staggering 70% said they received no support at all. The Victims Commissioner for England and Wales, Baroness Newlove, knows how serious antisocial behaviour can become. She lost her husband because of it.
Gary was 47. He'd gone out because, again, we had gangs outside our house causing trouble. And he was brutally murdered by these yobs, kicked to death and punched to death. And it's something that you never forget. 17 years have passed since Gary's life was taken. And it saddens me and angers me at times that antisocial behaviour is still being classed as low level. We're still having to justify what antisocial behaviour is really like for people to go through. Good morning, hello.
Jackie, this is
I'm
Baroness
Helen.
Newlove.
I brought Baroness Newlove to Wilmot Park so she can meet Jackie, Paul and Gary to hear their experiences. They show Baroness Newlove their evidence of antisocial behaviour, including the night the motorbike was torched.
It was on fire.
Oh my word!
You're aware that there are people in the alley and you think, well, what are they going to do next? So that immediately puts you on edge.
Yes.
And instead of having a rest at night, you're stressing out.
Yeah. Gary was the same up and down the hallway looking out what's going to happen tonight, what's going to happen.
You're just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
The police say it's the council, the council say it's the police, so where do you go? So you just tell both and they both ignore you.
Actually, for me, I've had enough of them saying, well, it's not yours, it's not mine. Actually, you are responsible in the community. You serve the community, and that's what they should be doing. Ours was antisocial behaviour until Gary was brutally kicked to death. It became a murder.
In response to our report, Dartford Borough Council told us, "We fully understand that any antisocial behaviour is incredibly frustrating for residents. In relation to Wilmot Park, we will continue to respond to incidents of antisocial behaviour where we have the evidence and powers to do so." The council said it had increased park ranger patrols in recent months, but urged residents to report incidents to the police. But Paul is sceptical. He's spent years now witnessing and reporting antisocial behaviour, and it's still happening.
It massively gives us huge amounts of anxiety and stress, lack of sleep. It doesn't make you want to live here anymore, and it's not fair on us, residents. We shouldn't have to live in fear.
Still to come on the UK Tonight, calls for the Lucy Letby public inquiry to be widened as experts cast doubt on the former nurse's murder convictions.
I'm Greg Milam and I'm Sky's chief North of England correspondent. I've reported from around the world and around the UK.
I'm Mark Stone, I'm Sky's US correspondent based here in Washington, DC. And beyond the United States, from across the world, I report on the biggest stories.
I'm Stuart Ramsey and I'm Sky's chief correspondent.
I'm David Blevins and I'm Sky's senior Ireland correspondent. I remember some of the worst of the violence here.
I'm Alex Crawford and I'm Sky's special correspondent based in Istanbul.
Going to evict crazy Kamala.
Donald Trump is an unserious man.
The most incompetent and far-left vice president in American history.
The American people deserve better.
She breaks everything that she touches.
Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes.
Kamala, who's a Marxist.
Imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails.
They have breached the road. There is a lot of gas being fired all around us. It is an absolute carnival kind of atmosphere out here for Prime Minister Modi's decisive victory. These students are defying the prohibitory orders and now they're going to be arrested.
We aim to be the best and most trusted place for news.
The roads have been inundated. The only way out is to get people by boat. This on any given day would have been bustling with people, but today it's absolutely deserted.
I'm Neville Lazarus and I'm Sky's reporter based in Delhi.
A lot of action going on. I'm Alex Crawford and I'm Sky's special correspondent based in Istanbul.
This is what makes the job so fantastic.
public inquiry into the crimes of the most prolific child killer in modern British history will begin tomorrow. Lucy Letby was given a whole life sentence for murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 6 more. The public inquiry will look into the circumstances surrounding the crimes, but there are calls for its scope to be widened, as some raise doubts over Letby's convictions. And Chief North of England correspondent Greg Milam reports.
When Lucy Letby was led away from her home by police, it was to end with her convicted as the most prolific serial child killer in modern British history. A nurse who should have been caring for some of the most vulnerable, but instead killed 7 babies and attempted to kill 7 more. How she was able to carry out those crimes at the Countess of Chester Hospital will be the focus of the inquiry. Letby has always maintained her innocence, but juries at 2 trials found her guilty and judges rejected her application to appeal. The inquiry will not revisit any of that. Throughout both of Lucy Letby's trials and ever since, there's been a huge amount of commentary, especially online, among those who believe in her guilt and those who question some of the key evidence presented in court and whether, in fact, she should have been found not guilty. And a group of leading experts on things like medical data, among them Professor Jane Hutton, say questions in particular about the use of statistical evidence in the trial risk the inquiry missing other potential causes of child deaths. They want the inquiry broadened or postponed.
I am of the opinion that the conviction is not safe because of the number of statistical problems I've seen and because other specialists from other areas have voiced similar concerns from the basis of their own professions. The concern is that by taking the conviction as safe and therefore focusing only on Lucy Letby, that the reasons for the increase in the number of deaths and collapses will not be fully explored, and therefore there may be lessons that could be learnt that will not be learnt.
But the families of the babies who died, who will be among the first to give evidence, have dismissed those concerns.
I think the facts are really clear. She has been convicted of these crimes. She has exhausted the appeals process. Those that have been privy to the full remit of evidence, that includes the families, the jurors, and the judges in the Court of Appeal, have all maintained her guilt. Anything outside of that, those that haven't seen or read or heard the entirety of the evidence, it's merely speculation.
The inquiry chair, Lady Justice Thirlwell, said her aim is to ensure no one else suffers as those families have. No motive has ever been put forward for the crimes Lucy Letby was convicted of. The families of those babies left without answers. This inquiry, it's hoped, will at least provide some. Greg Milam, Sky News.
Well, we are at Buckingham Palace this evening after the Princess of Wales revealed that she has completed her cancer treatment in a very personal and intimate video released earlier on today. We've been bringing you reaction to her announcement throughout the course of the evening. And Rhiannon, it's good news and there's a lot of hope in that video. What did we actually learn about where Catherine is on this cancer journey?
So yeah, I think it's potentially quite easy to be distracted, isn't it, by the lovely pictures that we see of the family of William and Kate cuddling and kissing and enjoying time with the children. But I think there are in a way 4 clear things that they wanted to put across in terms of this message. She wanted to tell us that her treatment is finished at the moment. I think she also wanted to articulate that actually this has been an incredibly difficult time for the family, but in some ways has been good for them because it's made them reevaluate what's important, as it would with anyone going through this kind of cancer journey. Family are front and foremost at their minds. They are the priority. We've always known that the children have been important, but I think even more so that's been reinforced in their minds. That her health is going to continue to come first, and through that, she is going to have to take time when it comes to her recovery. I think she's wanted to show that people going through these difficult health scares, physically it takes it out of you, but also mentally. And then I think finally there was definitely a sense that the palace wanted to stop any speculation from getting out of control. The royal family obviously back to work at the minute, like the rest of us after the summer break. Prince William was out last week, so was Queen Camilla, so was the King. Inevitably those questions were going to start about when we were going to see Kate. They are saying that actually probably only a handful of occasions we're going to see her until the end of the year. Remembrance Sunday, of course, is one that she will hope to attend. But yeah, work I think is important to her, but family still is going to come first.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because there was so much caution in that video. There was hope and optimism, but also when she talked about focusing on staying cancer-free, there is an admission that anyone that goes through cancer will always be thinking that it may come back.
Yep.
And also the fact that she's been working from home, she wants to get back to work, but there is now, as you said, this reaffirmation of the fact that family is before everything, and by that I don't mean the royal family, I mean her 3 kids and her husband. So it may be that in the future, the Princess of Wales, in terms of how she works within the royal family, may look entirely different.
It's going to be fascinating to see, I think, the long-term impact of this year. It's been an extraordinary 9 months to think that back in February we had a cancer diagnosis for the King and also the Princess of Wales. What is that going to do in terms of what they both decide to do when it comes to their working lives? Obviously, and I think we see it within this one family, everyone's journey is different. With the King, he has felt, I think, buoyed up. He's felt energised by being back out, doing public engagements. I think for the Princess of Wales, I think mentally it's taken a big hit on her. And I think for both of them also, it's been a case of wanting to talk about their experiences. They've got so much solace from other people sharing their experiences.
As people that have got from her words about vulnerabilities and being scared.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think for a lot of people, and you read this on social media now, and other people I've been speaking to, people at the palace saying the feedback they're getting is that actually the treatment comes to an end for a lot of people who have cancer. And then there's a sense of, well, you're better now. You can jump back to it. Actually, what she's saying today is, it's still going to take me time. I still feel vulnerable, and it's going to be a long road ahead.
OK, Rhiannon, thank you, Rhiannon Mills, with reaction there to the announcement from the Princess of Wales.